So, let's start with what I think is one of the most remarkable milestones in space exploration. NASA's Parker Solar Probe has actually ventured into the sun's outer atmosphere, the corona. I mean, just think about that for a second. This thing is traveling at about 430,000 miles per hour, facing temperatures reaching 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like brushing up against the untouchable, you know?
Right. And no extra armor or magic shield here, just science and design. It's built to study solar winds and these massive magnetic fields. And yeah, those winds, they can knock out our entire grid back here on Earth if they're strong enough. This isn't just for kicks, it's defense tech too.
Exactly. The probe gives us a front row seat to understanding the mechanisms behind solar phenomena, like why the outer atmosphere is actually hotter than the sun's surface. That kind of data has ripple effects not just for space science, but for predicting solar storms that, like you said, could impact us directly.
And it's not just the sun. Telescopes like the James Webb, game changers. We're talking about detecting exoplanets in systems we didn't even know existed, peaking almost back to the start of the universe. That kind of intel redefines what we're even looking for out there.
Oh, definitely. The James Webb isn't just a telescope, it's like a time machine, unraveling mysteries like black holes and the early stages of galaxies. Just capturing those infrared signals, it's helping us better understand cosmic phenomena like dark matter and dark energy, which, let's be honest, have been baffling physicists forever.
All right, but here's the thing. What's the point if we can't translate it into action? All this data better help us figure out what makes planets habitable, or we're spinning our wheels.
Oh, it absolutely does. Understanding habitability is all about refining the parameters. What elements are necessary? What conditions can support water or life? Space exploration is reshaping the blueprint for what we even consider possible. It's fascinating how interconnected everything becomes when you zoom out this far.
And, zoomed out or not, if the Parker Probe and James Webb keep delivering like this, our understanding of the universe leaps forward every single day.
With tools like these, it feels like no corner of the universe is out of reach anymore. It's just endless discovery, and the implications are staggering. Speaking of groundbreaking missions, let's dive into the Artemis Program. It's NASA's bold effort to take humanity back to the moon, not just for flags and footprints this time, but to lay the groundwork for a permanent base. This could be our gateway to Mars and even farther into the cosmos.
Right, and that gateway concept, essentially a long-term outpost, it's a strategic move, gives us a testing ground for operations in harsher environments like Mars. Plus, supplies can launch cheaper from the moon with its lower gravity. Smells like logistics efficiency to me.
Absolutely. And you know what's fascinating? The discovery of those habitable moon caves. Like, they've found these natural shelters that could protect astronauts from radiation, extreme temperatures, even meteorite impacts. It's almost like the moon had plans for us all along.
Plans, huh? More like a lucky coincidence. But yeah, those caves are a game changer. Cuts down on the need for inflatable modules or heavy habitats. Practical and simple. That's how you make progress out there.
And the way they found them is amazing, using the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and signal processing to detect these structures. It's like technology is peeling back the moon's layers, revealing possibilities we hadn't imagined before.
Yeah, but don't forget, those habitats need more than a roof. We're talking life support, oxygen generators, water processing, real systems to keep people alive. And that's where international collaboration comes in, right?
Exactly. Partnerships are critical. NASA's goals tie into missions like Japan's Hayabusa 2, which brought back asteroid samples. That mission isn't just cool. Those samples give us insights into resources we might rely on for building sustainable outposts.
And not to mention, it aligns countries around shared goals, keeps the focus forward instead of wasting resources competing. The ISS proved it. When nations collaborate, we cover more ground, literally and figuratively.
Right. It's interesting, though, how these missions all fold into this bigger picture, getting us to a point where space isn't just for exploration anymore. It's becoming a second home, or at least the framework for one.
And that framework's got to be reliable. No room for error when lives and billions of dollars are on the line.
And that's why every discovery, every mission, every technological leap feels so interconnected. It's all building up step by step.
All these advancements remind us of how crucial it is to protect what we're building, right? That's where the Space Force comes in. It's not just a fancy addition to the military. It's about securing satellites, keeping comms online, and stopping debris from knocking critical assets out of orbit. It's space defense, plain and simple.
And it's more than defense, Duke. The Space Force plays a key role in making space operations safe for everyone, especially with issues like debris collisions becoming increasingly common. Their focus on situational awareness ensures that even peaceful explorations stay, well, possible.
True, but let's not kid ourselves. Space isn't some kumbaya cooperative playground. It's strategic territory. That's why investments in anti-satellite tech and cybersecurity are non-negotiable. If somebody takes out our GPS network, game over for everything.
You're right about strategy, but it doesn't have to be all about conflict. The same partnerships driving exploration, like the collaboration between SpaceX and NASA or international missions, can set the tone. It's about balancing priorities. Collaboration moves us forward, but securing assets ensures we keep that momentum.
Sure, but partnerships gotta start from strength. Look at what SpaceX and Blue Origin bring to the table. Top-tier tech like new propulsion systems and spacecraft innovations. Those companies push the edge, and yeah, it's the private sector that's made space more accessible. They're not waiting around.
Exactly. Innovations like reusable rockets and advancements in spacecraft durability make long missions feasible. But what's fascinating is how these breakthroughs aren't isolated. They tie into bigger goals, like sustaining astronaut health over extended travel or creating sustainable bases on the moon.
And sustainable means reliable. You can't just toss people into deep space unprepared. Radiation, microgravity. We're already pushing human limits. It's tech and planning that'll keep those missions alive. Space isn't forgiving.
That's why I think these debates about the Space Force, a balance between safety, defense, and global cooperation, are so pivotal. It's not just about being the strongest. It's about ensuring space becomes universally accessible, responsibly utilized, and ultimately our shared next frontier.
Fair point. But let's remember, none of this happens without the groundwork. Strong defense, strong partnerships, and relentless innovation. That's how we do space the right way.
And on that note, we've seen how exploration evolves, from unlocking space's mysteries to building frameworks for long-term survival. It's a journey of endless possibilities, but one that demands balance, collaboration, and resilience.
Absolutely. And with the Space Force, private sectors, and global missions working side by side, we're not just surviving space, we're starting to own it. No limits.
And that's all for today's episode of Unveiling Space Frontiers. Thanks for joining us on this incredible conversation, and we'll catch you next time.